Today, we are going to talk about something that confuses even native Korean speakers. Listen very carefully. 어떻게, 어떻게. Can you hear the difference? Me neither. Many people don't even realize that these are two different words because their pronunciation is so similar. In fact, it's so similar that it's essentially the same. 어떻게, how. 어떻게, 어떻게 하다. What should I do? It's generally used as an exclamation when something bad has happened. 어떻게, 어떻게. Final consonant 받침 히읗s make a k sound when they are followed by a 기역 at the start of the next level, as do 기역 받침s when they are followed by a 히읗. In the past, Koreans used to distinguish between 에 and 에, but these days we don't. You can see this in the Korean words for crab, 개, and dog, 개, which are spelled differently but sound exactly the same. Because they sound the same, it's impossible to tell 어떻게 and 어떻게 apart just from their sound. So what's the difference? 어떻게 is simply the Korean word for how, and it's usually used in questions. 남자친구와 어떻게 만났어요? How did you meet your boyfriend? It would be wrong to write 어떻게 만났어요. 어떻게 is correct. 어떻게 헤어졌어요? How did you break up? It's wrong if you write 어떻게 헤어졌어요. You have to write 어떻게. Let's look at some more useful examples. 이거 어떻게 먹어요? 어떻게 먹어요? 남산에 가려면 어떻게 가야 해요? 어떻게 가야 해요? 이거 어떻게 만들어요? 어떻게 만들어요? In all of these examples, 어떻게 is followed by a verb. 어떻게 만나요? 어떻게 헤어졌어요? 어떻게 먹어요? 어떻게 가요? 어떻게 만들어요? 어떻게 is actually a contraction of 어떻게 plus 해. 해 is the conjugated form of the verb 하다, to do. So what 어떻게 literally means is how plus do. It's most commonly used as an exclamation at the end of a sentence when something bad has happened. It's not followed by a verb because it already contains one. It could be translated into English as, what should I do? But this is only a rhetorical question. In most cases, when we say 어떻게, we're not looking for a real answer. 이제 와서 이러면 난 어떡해? 이제 와서 이러면 난 어떡해? 어제 택배 안 왔어. 오늘도 안 오면 어떡해? 어제 택배 안 왔어. 오늘도 안 오면 어떡해? 그렇게 화를 내면 어떡해? 그렇게 화를 내면 어떡해? Some common variations you might also see are 어떻게 plus 하지? 유리가 깨졌는데 어떡하지? 유리가 깨졌는데 어떡하지? 어떻게 플러스 할까? 영화 티켓 오늘까지네. 나는 오늘 못 갈 것 같은데 어떡할까? 영화 티켓 오늘까지네. 나는 오늘 못 갈 것 같은데 어떡할까? 어떻게 플러스 하니? 일을 그만두면 어떡하니? 일을 그만두면 어떡하니? 너 하지? 할까, and 하니 endings are all just ways to ask questions. 하지 is often used to ask yourself a question. 어떡하지? 할까 is usually used to give or ask for suggestions. 어떡할까? And 하니 is just another informal question form. 어떡하니? Again, often 어떡하지, 어떡할까, and 어떡하니 are just rhetorical questions. The speaker isn't really expecting an answer. 어떻게 plus 하라고. 나보러 어떡하라고. 나보러 어떡하라고. 나보러 어떡하라고. This form is a little meaner and shows more frustration. But again, it's usually rhetorical. As I said before, distinguishing between 어떻게 and 어떡해 is most important when you're writing, especially if you are taking TOPIK or another Korean exam. 이 이메일에 어떻게 답변해야 하지? 이 이메일에 어떻게 답변해야 하지? 어떻게. Here, 어떻게 is followed by a verb, and it's not an exclamation or at the end of the sentence. So we know that 어떻게 is the correct word. Now it's your turn. Choose the correct word, 어떻게 or 어떻게 in these examples. 지갑을 잃어버렸네. 나 어떡해. 지갑을 잃어버렸네. 나 어떡해. 이 게임 어떻게 해요? 이 게임 어떻게 해요? 한국어 공부 어떻게 해야 해요? 한국어 공부 어떻게 해야 해요? 거기서 그런 말을 하면 어떡해? 거기서 그런 말을 하면 어떡해? 잘했어요. If you made it to the end of this video, you now know something that even some native Korean speakers don't realize about their own language. See you next time for more Korean grammar.